in the United States and elsewhere in the world, many people develop drugs so that they get approved and they can then be commercially used. And typically the predominant way that one goes about doing this is to show that you're better than placebo. But in rheumatoid arthritis in particular, there's a problem with the issue of ethics of exposure of the patient to either an inadequate responder drug or placebo. How can you do that ethically over a period of time? So people have moved towards thinking about doing a trial where you compare against an active comparator, an active drug, and you say that you're no different than them. But then how do you determine that you're no different? And if you don't have a placebo arm or a background therapy arm in the trial receiving neither of these two drugs, how do you know that your trial actually worked? What's the assay sensitivity of the trial? So if you don't have that, then you want to be sure that you're not very different. But unfortunately, to be equivalent to an active comparator is almost impossible based on trial size and the requirements of the numbers of patients. Thousands of patients would be required. So we've come up with a methodology called non-inferiority, so that you're no different based on a certain amount of no difference. And the expectation is that certain amount of no difference will be as small as possible. And it certainly can't be any larger than the expected effect size or the effect of the active control. And that is a big controversy. A lot of antibiotics in the United States were approved for years based on non-inferiority to another antibiotic. So very few people actually had a placebo-controlled trial demonstrating an assay sensitivity, and they anchored it back to much earlier studies. That has become not that popular. And as we move into the comparative effectiveness field, then we need to really think about how we're going to say that treatment A is not very different than treatment B. And the closer they are together, the more comfortable you are if you believe the trial worked. So what you have to do is you then have to go back to do historical data sets for the active control to see if in this new trial, the active control behaved like you would have expected it to behave based on previous data sets. That is what non-inferiority is all about.